Hello. I'm Sam and welcome back to my channel, and we are going to take a little break from vlogging this week. I'll probably do a little mini prep update at the end of this, but today I wanted to answer some questions. So we're going to basically just answer some common questions that I get about prep as an athlete and as a prep coach. So I think let's just dive right in. We're just going to do a few common ones, not a ton. If you have any questions that you have, drop them in the comments. Maybe I'll do another Q&A if we get enough, Q's for enough A's to make a video. Okay. All right. So first question is, how long is a prep? And this is a super, super common question, and there's no concrete answer. So the answer is basically how long it takes you to get ready for your show. Generally speaking, this can be anywhere from 12 to 24 weeks or more. So my current prep, my first show, I started about 22 weeks out from my first show. A general rule of thumb is you can kind of do the math, and it's about 1 pound per week, and very easy math, 1 pound per week to get to your stage weight. Just how many pounds you have to lose, that's how many weeks your prep will be. You always want to give yourself some buffer and stuff like that because, life happens. There'll be a week where progress stalls. You don't lose weight on peak week, so that week doesn't actually even count towards your weight loss. So all of those little things, but generally speaking, can be anywhere from 12 to 24 weeks. I think mine are usually lately have been around 20 weeks, 20, 21, 22. Like I said, mine's 22 this year. A lot of people do 16. I know when I first started back in 2017, the prep was just 12 weeks. It was just you started prep 12 weeks out from your show, or at least this is what, brand new to the bikini competition world Sam was introduced to, was just, hey, you're 12 weeks out. It's time to start your cut. But that is not the case. Prep has evolved and how people compete has evolved, and we've gotten smarter and better at it. And some people need more time than others. And a 12-week prep is what I would consider a fairly short prep nowadays. So give yourself lots of time. That's something you should talk to a coach about, or just be very conservative. And so estimate more time than you think you will need is going to be the better option than guessing too short. Okay, on that same vein, when should you sign up for your show? So again, back in 2017, when I first started, I signed up the day I started prep, basically. It was like, all right, prep starts, I sign up for my show. That is not what I recommend, however. Do not sign up for your show 12, 16, 20 weeks out. I say about 4 to 6 weeks out tops. So for your regional shows, this could be different, maybe for a national show or a pro show or something like that, but we're just talking about regional, local level shows. And I would say about 4 to 6 weeks out. And the reason is a lot can change in 20 weeks. Maybe you end up not competing. Maybe your body doesn't respond how you expect it to. Maybe some crazy life event happens that means you kind of have to change your plans. So many different things can happen in basically half a year that you do not want to sign up, spend all that money, because all of those things are not refundable typically. I'd say maybe the one thing you can do earlier than that is a hotel, because most hotels you can cancel without penalty. So I would just look at that. But about 4 to 6 weeks. Signing up early doesn't give you any benefits, and really only negatives if something changes. And you also don't want to lock yourself into a show, and then, like I said, you end up not responding how you thought you would to prep, and then now you're trying to cram to be ready for that show, or you have to do that show not feeling ready. And having that stress is not really helpful. I know when I first competed, it was popular to help give you motivation, but you shouldn't have to have the show signed up to motivate you to do your prep. If you need that, I would say it's probably not a good time for you to prep, and kind of need to reevaluate why you even want to do a prep potentially, if you have to have that show sign up to feel motivated for the show. So I would say about 4 to 6 weeks is when you should sign up for your show, and that's when you can start looking at hair, makeup, tan, booking, all that stuff. Don't do it way too early, because a lot a lot can change and you don't want to kind of like pigeon your hole into a show date. Okay, next one is, how do I pick my show? Guess we're going with like show day theme right now. And that is, if you're a first time competitor and this is brand new, I would just pick one that is close to you, one that isn't going to take as much travel, one that's going to be easy to get to. If you're in a place like I am, which is in Iowa, there's going to be fewer shows where you wouldn't have to travel at all. So a lot of shows, you'll probably at least going to have to drive and stay at the hotel, but driving rather than flying is much easier. My first show, I did fly back to Iowa from San Diego, and that was rough because like traveling with all my stuff that I needed for the show, all of my food, figuring it out was much harder than just driving somewhere. So I would say how to pick your first show is one that is close to you and is going to be easy to get to and not super stressful. Two, that's within your timeline that you've kind of established, either with your coach or just you're like, I kind of know this is how long it should take. Kind of having that in your timeline, but then I would recommend having multiple shows picked out that you could do, because you don't want to be, like I said in the last question, you don't want to be tied to one show and one show only. So it puts a lot of pressure on you, puts a lot of pressure on your coach to be ready for that particular date. And if something changes, it's really nice to have like, oh, well, I have this show, and this show, and I can do any one of these or all of these if I feel like. So how to choose your show: close by, within a reasonable time frame from where you are to when it is. And then lastly, making sure it's in the federation that you want to compete in. So there are multiple federations, and just make sure you're looking at the shows in the federation that you want to compete in. If you're not too picky, you'll have a lot more options. I know around here we have NPC shows. So in Iowa and the Midwest, we have NPC shows, lots to choose from. OCB shows, lots to choose from. And then, NANBF, sorry, blanked on it. And we have a few of those to choose from in the area. So technically, someone could compete in all of those. But first and foremost, look at shows in the federation that you do prefer. And so federation you want, close to you, within a reasonable time frame that's not going to overly rush you to get to stage. So those are the big things. Really, a show is a show, especially if it's going to be your first one. Just really any show is most likely going to be fine. So picking that first show, don't overthink it. Just find one that fits all those criteria for you. Next question. Can I do more than one show? Yes, I always recommend all of my athletes do more than one show. You are already lean, you've already dieted down, you've already gone through that whole prep. You might as well do more than one show. And if it's your first show, you're going to be nervous. Not trying to like make you nervous or tell you you have to be nervous, but you're probably going to be very nervous. You're not going to know exactly what to expect, even if you've practiced, even if you've been told, even if you've watched videos like this. It's still going to be like, I don't know what to expect. And so there's a lot of first show jitters, and sometimes that can detract from how much fun it is. Still a lot of fun, still tons and tons of fun, but you have like that little layer of like nervousness and the unknown, where the second show, you've done it before, you know what to expect. You know what it feels like to walk out on stage. You know what it feels like to be in your bikini in front of the judges. You know what it feels like to do your routine. So a second show is just, you can really enjoy it a bit more. And like I said, you already prepped, you already did all the work, might as well do more than one show if you want to. Do you have to? Absolutely not. But if you want to, and there's shows close by that make sense, I 100% recommend doing at least a couple shows, if that's what you want to do. And if you don't want to do it, I would consider it. But if you like really don't, then don't. My first season, I only did one show. My second season, I did two. My third season, I did one because I shouldn't have been doing a third season and I was not happy about anything. And then my fourth season, I did two shows. And then this most recent season, I did 3 shows. So yeah, it's fun to do more than one. You get to practice being on stage. You get a little less nervous. It's nice, especially if it's your first season. I highly recommend it. Now, kind of like a sub question that I haven't gotten this question per se, but I want to answer it, is can you do too many shows? And the answer to that is technically yes. So peak week is a little bit different. Usually workouts are tapered down, cardio is tapered down, food is usually changed. Usually you're getting a bit more carbs and things like that. And so you're kind of losing days of workouts. So you're not pushing as hard, intensity is lower, and then you usually have more days off on your peak week. The reason is you're letting your body relax, get rid of that stress, so you can go into peak or show day looking really fresh. And if you're doing a lot of shows in a very small amount of time, you're losing a lot of workout intensity days. And so you can end up looking kind of flat, kind of stringy on stage, losing some of that like pop that your muscles can get. And so yes, you can do too many shows in too small of a time frame. A lot of back-to-back peak weeks or very close back-to-back peak weeks is not 100% ideal. I mean like 2 is fine. Maybe like 2, a chunk of time in between another show. Like I said, I did 3. I did 1 show, then I had 6 weeks, and then I had back-to-back peak weeks. My season this year, I'm planning on a show. I don't think we're going to go into it with a peak week. I don't know. We'll see. I think we're just going to go into the show because it's getting the rust off show. And then I'll do a show 2 weeks later that matters, or it's my big show. And then it's going to be about 4 weeks later and then 6 weeks later. So I have big chunks of time in between my shows, even though I'm planning on quite a few. And then after that, there's another show that I potentially will do in 2 or 3 weeks after that. So bigger chunks of time, but you can do too many too close together. But ultimately it comes down to, how's your body responding? How are you feeling? Do you want to, and can you afford it? Shows are expensive. So that's really like, if you want to, there's really no like, you can't do this many shows. It really just kind of depends how everything is going. Do you have to stay at the host hotel? No, you do not. I recommend, if you can, staying at the host hotel. And the reason being is usually your tan will be located there. Makeup and hair will be located there if it's not at the venue. And then your polygraph is going to be at the host hotel. So what happens when you stay at the host hotel, and then athlete check-in is also at the host hotel. So you get to your hotel and you don't have to leave. You don't have to get in your car and go anywhere. You can just walk down to athlete check-in. You can just walk down to your tan. You can just walk down the next morning to get your hair and makeup if it's not at the venue. I know sometimes with OCB, the hair and makeup is at the venue, but then you're already at the venue, so it doesn't matter. And then second coat of tan is just at the venue, is at the hotel, so you can just walk down and get your second coat of tan. So it just makes it a lot easier because you don't have to worry about driving in back and forth. You're not going to be in trouble or anything like that if you stay at a different hotel. So there's no like you have to. It's just more convenient is what it really ends up being. One thing I would say is if you do stay at the host hotel, well, not if you do, but yeah, if you do, and the venue is somewhere separate. So oftentimes in OCB shows, the hotel and the venue are not at the same place. So when you're at the hotel, make sure you drive to the venue to know where you're going the next day so you're not worried or panicked. You know where to park, you know exactly what to do the next morning so you're not like freaking out or unsure. So that would be the one time you could leave the hotel is go drive to the venue, make sure you know where you're going to park, and then drive back. That way you're just feeling really confident the next day getting to that venue. NPC, usually they're at the show is in the hotel that you're staying at, so it's not as much, so that's even more convenient if you stay at the host hotel if it's an NPC show. That's not every time. I've had NPC shows where they were separate, but I've had shows where I stayed at Airbnb though, and it's been fine. So it just kind of becomes, do you want that convenience or not? Okay, so this is one I got recently is, do I have to shave my arms? And the answer to that is, do you have to? No. Should you? Probably. The reason being is when you get that spray tan on, the spray tan can kind of like cling to the little hairs all over your body, and it can make your tan look spotty or like muddy. It makes it not look as smooth. So does that happen to every single person every single time? No. But is it a risk that you want to take? It's not a risk I want to take. So I shave my whole bod, so it has nice buttery skin for that tan to go on. And again, like I said, do you have to? No, it's going to be up to you, but I would recommend it. Better safe than sorry. And it's not a big deal. It doesn't take that long. You already probably shave your legs. You already probably shave your armpits and everything. So it's just a little bit more really. So I would say yes, but you don't have to if for some reason you really, really, really don't want to. Can you turn green? Yes. So the tan can turn green if you put like deodorant, perfume, lotions. Basically, it's like if you upset the pH balance and it can turn green. So you want to have no lotion, no perfume, no deodorant when you go to get your tan. You want to just be like a blank, dry canvas. And then you can't put any on show day. And that's why you'll hear people talk about like, oh, it's kind of stinky backstage because no one can wear deodorant. I honestly haven't noticed the ladies being that smelly. I think it's more of the guys, not to be, generalizing between men and women, but I've noticed it less with the ladies backstage that it's smelly. But that doesn't mean it won't be. But yeah, so no deodorant, no lotion, no perfume, nothing like that. You want to make sure you're just a nice blank pH neutral canvas. Should you get the show tan or a DIY tan? I've done both, and I've been disappointed with both, and I've been happy with both at different shows. So this one, I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. Unless it is your first season, go with the show tanner. And why do I say that? Do not stress yourself out having to do your own tan. Just pay them. Have them worry about making your tan look good. Have them worry about touching it up. Because if you don't do the show tan, they won't do touch-ups for you either backstage. So if you're new, I recommend going with the show promoter's tanner. You're going to look like everyone else on stage. You will have them there to help you do touch-ups, and you do not have to stress about it at all, other than you have to get to your appointment, not wreck your tan, but that's it, instead of having to worry about when do you do your own tan, how do you balance this, how do you make it even. But yeah, so I've had show tans where I was disappointed with the tan, and the next season I did it myself, and I thought it turned out great, but then I did it another time myself, and I was way too light, which is probably user error, but when you have the show promoter tan do it, you don't have user error. So I now have switched back to doing the show promoter tan. Then you just match everyone on stage. It's really dark. I did adopt a new skin prep routine this last season that worked great. And I think I will be doing it again this year because my skin took to the tan the best it ever has. My skin does not like the tan. So, but yeah, so I would say first season, just get the show promoter tan. Don't stress yourself out. Keep stress at a minimum. And then if you want to experiment with it in your second, third, fourth season with doing the DIY tan, feel free. It doesn't really save much money. If you look at like the Pro Tan, to buy all the stuff you need, it's like $100-$120, and show tans are usually like $150 to $170. So really you're not saving any money. I mean, technically a teeny tiny bit, but is it worth it? Is it worth the stress? I have decided I do not think it is. So there is, that one's a kind of iffier one on. But first season, pay for it. And last little thing, since we're talking about tan and show day, is pay for photos. You will never regret having the professional photographer take your pictures while you're on stage and getting those shots. No one is going to get them as high quality as the show photographer. That's just like your friend or family in the audience. Show photographers, there's just no tops of heads. It's centered. It's got good light. Whereas if you're waiting on friends or hoping for friends and family, it's going to be heads in the way. It's going to be really weird angles from really far one side or the other, or just really far back. Pay for the photos, even though that wasn't a question, but that's okay. Okay, so I think that's all the questions I'm going to dive into today. Like I said, if you have more questions, they can be more prep related. They can be my prep related if you want to about my own prep. It can be basically anything bikini and or fitness related, fat loss, muscle building, all that's fine too. But yeah, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and let me know if there's anything else you would like to see. And a quick little mini personal prep update. We are getting ready to end week 4. Today is a Sunday, and week 4 will be ending on Wednesday. So we're like 3.5 weeks into prep. Nothing's really changed since day 1. Cardio stayed the same. Nutrition has essentially stayed the same. We've been moving protein around a little bit, but that's mostly just because I've been like, I had too much protein. And then I was like, now I'm going over on protein. So my coach has just been like, okay, we'll drop it, because he was being nice. And then he's like, okay, I'll bump it up a little bit, because he was being nice. So we're in the happy middle now, which is working out great. But so it hasn't really changed. It's just changed by like, I don't know, 10 grams of protein over the course of 3 weeks, just because I'm apparently needy. So cardio, like I said, has been the same. Steps, we did establish a baseline step, which was 9,000. And that's not including my cardio. And I'm trying to think. Weight has been dropping. This week it's been a little steady, so I wouldn't be surprised if on check-in day we make some changes. But we'll see. My high weights each week have been less and less though, so that's cool to see that little pointy point on the graph get lower and lower and lower. So I like to pay attention to that too. Like, it's my highest weight of the week lower than my highest weight of the week before, and that has been still happening, so that's exciting. But yeah, I am excited. Everything's feeling good. I mean, we're only 3.5 weeks in. It should still be feeling good, but I will probably do a vlog for next week, and hopefully you enjoyed this Q&A. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not, and if you want to, feel free to share this video. Like I said, leave a comment. It really helps. It lets me know that you're here, enjoying the videos, and just makes me feel a little more connected, like I'm talking to real people instead of just my camera on a tripod. But yeah, so I think that is all, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.